What's up, gamers? I don't know if you've noticed, but around here on Bono's Gaming, we do a lot of retro gaming stuff. And today I'm going to show you how to play classic PlayStation games on an Apple TV with an Xbox controller. 2024 is crazy. Let's get into it. Alright, so you don't have to actually use an Xbox controller. It can be pretty much any controller you have sitting around your house. It could be PlayStation, Switch, a third-party controller. Most of them work on Apple devices now, including the Apple TV. So prerequisites for this to work, obviously you're going to need an Apple TV. You're also going to need your computer and a controller. There's really not much you can do with the remote control here. So you will need a controller for this to work, but once you get it going, man, it's going to be so fun. So first up, you're going to need to go to the App Store and search for RetroArch or RetroArch. I've heard it both ways, and you're going to need to install that. It is completely free to install. And then once you've installed it, we're going to open it up, and you're going to see this box come up, and it's going to say, "Welcome to RetroArch. To transfer files from your computer, go to one of these addresses on your web browser." So at this point, there's a couple ways you can approach this. You can go straight to one of these addresses, and you can go ahead and add your games first, or you can set up RetroArch and get it looking a little better and get it ready for the games before you do that. I'm going to go ahead and add the games first. So I'm going to head over to my web browser. And oh, look at this. You can join the channel at Bono's Gaming for as little as $2.99 a month. What a great deal. That's amazing. You can't blame me for a little shameless plug, can you? Please subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. That part's absolutely free for life. So once you've typed in that address to your browser, you can go ahead and hit enter and get straight to the page. Now, there's not going to be much to this website. You're just going to see some folders, your file system here for the RetroArch app. And we're going to click on this RetroArch folder right here, and then we are going to see that there's a whole bunch of folders inside there. Things like shaders, things like save states, things like overlays. But we don't need any of that. I'm going to create a new folder here just to help myself stay organized. I'm going to call it ROMs. We're going to create that folder. So what I've done is that I previously had already organized my ROMs into folders, and I'm just going to actually drag and drop my PS1 folder over into my web browser. Now, if you had clicked up here in the top left, upload files, it only lets you upload one file at a time. So to speed that up, you just drag the whole folder from your file browser over into your web browser, and then it's going to start uploading your games. And while we're waiting for those to load, I'm going to go back over to the Apple TV. I'm actually going to back out of this right now because I want to make sure that we have connected our controller. So you're going to do that in settings, and you're going to go to remotes and devices, scroll down to Bluetooth, and then look for other devices at the bottom if you've never done this before. So on an Xbox controller, you would hold this little button in the back until your light on the front starts to blink, and it would connect that way. But I've already connected previously, and you'll see there Xbox wireless connection. Controller is connected, and you can hit the B button and go back out to the main menu, and you can go over to RetroArch and you can hit A and it'll bring the window back up. So back on the website of things, I did get an error on two of the games that I tried to upload, and it doesn't really give me a reason for that, so I'm not sure why it did that, but I'm sure that you could just try uploading them again to see if that would work. One thing I forgot to do is that I actually meant to make a PS1 folder in here. I'm going to do that really quick and then move these over. So I just want to keep everything kind of neat and tidy. Okay, so one more time, create a folder first. This time we're going to let's do GBA, Game Boy Advance. Create that folder. I'm going to go into that folder, and then I'm going to find my Game Boy Advance folder that's on my computer, and I'm going to drag that folder over into my web browser and upload those games. Those are going to go a lot faster than the PlayStation 1 games, obviously. So now we have a couple of folders here. And so we're going to go back to our Apple TV. And now we can hit OK. And one of the first things that I'm going to do before I even add the games, I'm going to go over here to Online Updater. And I'm going to scroll down here to this section. Well, I'm kind of blocking it there a little bit, but there's a whole bunch of things down here that say update core info files, update assets, update controller profiles, cheats, databases, overlays, slang shaders. I'm going to update all of those things, and it's going to go really quick, and it's going to give you a green check mark in the bottom left when it's done, but honestly, it shouldn't take it very long. These are very small files. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to settings, because I don't really like this interface, and you're going to scroll down to drivers, and then this menu option right here on the top, I'm going to change that personally to XMB. And once you've changed that, you're going to see up there it says restart required. So to restart, you're just going to double click this little TV icon right here button, double click that, and this is going to come up, and then you're just going to swipe up just like you would on a phone to close it out. Hit back, open it back up, and it's going to change to this new menu system, which I think is a lot cleaner. It's a lot nicer. It's more reminiscent of like a PlayStation console experience, and so that's kind of cool. And then what you're going to find now is the rest of this is pretty easy, really. You're going to want to scan a directory. So you're going to go over to this plus icon, scan a directory, and we're going to be looking in that RetroArch folder. So we're going to go down to ROMs. We're going to find our folder. So PlayStation, for example, and we're going to scan this directory, and you're going to see that it's going to start doing some stuff down in the bottom left corner again. And depending on how many ROMs you put in that folder, you know, it could take a while or it might just be a few seconds. The cool thing is that you really don't have to wait for it to finish. You can go ahead and go to your other folders and hit scan this directory and get those started as well. And then once they're done, it's going to be, you know, it'll give you that green check mark again, and then you can back out with the B button. And once you've backed out of that scan directory thing, you should see the games there. Now, for some reason, it didn't show, it's not showing me the PlayStation games, and I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe I have the wrong file format or something, but it gave me a green check mark, so I'm not really sure why that didn't work. It worked on my phone. Let's try one more thing. Let's try uploading a PSP game and see what happens there. And we'll just drag Ridge Racer over here, see if we can get PSP to work. All right, maybe I uploaded a little bit more than PSP. I got a little carried away here, but let's go back to RetroArch over on the TV, and we're going to go ahead and scan the directory again. Scrolling down to ROMs, now we see all these folders here. I'm going to go to PSP here, scan this directory. Wow, that did not take long. It says it's finished. Okay, and there's PSP right there. So PSP worked. Interesting. Very interesting. Down to ROMs. How about N64? Scanning. Finished. And there's N64. And so what you'll see is that there's not going to be any artwork, but it will pop up. If you just hover over each game for just a few seconds, it will download the cover art for that game, and you'll only have to do that once. I'm really hoping we get a new Perfect Dark announcement or some update on that game coming to Xbox here this weekend. It's Summer Game Fest weekend, but hey, I promised you PlayStation gameplay on an Apple device with an Xbox controller, so let's see about running this game. Now, once you go to run for the first time, you do have to pick which emulator you want to use. And for the PlayStation Portable, really this PPSSPP is the one that you want to use for that. So then you're going to hit run, and you should see the game start to load up. And here it is. Let's just try a single race. There you go. I'm playing Ridge Racer with an Xbox controller on an Apple TV. This is so weird. Yikes. That's pretty much it. I mean, RetroArch has a lot of customization options that you can get into. I mean, there's all kinds of different things that you can do here. But as far as just getting into a game, loading your ROMs, I can't tell you where to get ROMs, but a lot of people ask me this question, and I'm just not going to get into it. But I guess I could give you a hint that, you can get ROMs from your actual game disc physical media that you own if you have the means to do that. But you can also do some internet searches. There's all kinds of things called search engines out there. And, there's probably an archive on the internet that you could search for that contains older things. And you could probably find some collections out there if you were to word your searches correctly. But once you've got these things figured out, man, it's not that hard to play retro games on an Apple TV anymore. I mean, this is an amazing time that we live in where this is even a possibility. I mean, it is honestly quite insane. A lot of modern TVs don't have your old AV inputs like that you need for these retro consoles. So to be able to play some of the games you loved from your childhood, from your teenage years on a new modern TV with little to no fuss is pretty great. But hey, this has been Bono's Gaming with a little tutorial video for you today on installing RetroArch on the Apple TV. Stay kind and encouraging out there, and I'll catch you on the flippity flip. Whoa! Hey, Mario.